Why childhood memories stick while yesterday fades away. Have you ever wondered why you can still remember the exact taste of your grandmother's cookies from when you were 7, but you can't recall what you had for lunch yesterday? Or why that embarrassing moment from 3rd grade feels crystal clear while you're struggling to remember if you locked the front door this morning? You're not alone in this puzzle. It's one of the most fascinating quirks of human memory, and there are some really interesting reasons why our brains work this way. Let's dive into this mystery together and explore why childhood memories have such staying power while recent events seem to slip through our fingers like sand. The magic of first times. Think back to your childhood for a moment. Remember your first day of school, your first bike ride, the first time you saw snow? These memories probably feel incredibly vivid, almost like you could step right back into them. There's a beautiful reason for this. Your brain absolutely loves novelty. When you're a child, almost everything is a first time. The world is brand new, and your brain is like an excited tourist, snapping photos of everything because it's all so interesting and different. Your first bicycle ride wasn't just transportation. It was freedom, adventure, maybe a little fear, and definitely something completely new. Your brain paid close attention because this was important information that might be useful later. Fast forward to yesterday's commute to work, and your brain basically went, "Oh, this again. I've got this routine down, no need to pay special attention." It's like the difference between visiting a new city for the first time versus walking through your own neighborhood. In the new city, you notice everything. The architecture, the street vendors, the way the light hits the buildings. In your neighborhood, you might walk the same route 100 times and barely register the details because it's all so familiar. The emotional memory superhighway. Here's something you've probably noticed. The childhood memories that stick with you the strongest are usually the ones tied to big emotions. Maybe it's the joy of a surprise birthday party, the excitement of Christmas morning, or even something scary like getting lost in a store. Our brains have a special relationship with emotions. They act like a highlighter for our memories. When something makes us feel strongly, our brain essentially says, "This is important. File this under things to remember forever." It's like having an internal filing system where emotionally charged memories get the VIP treatment. Think about your most vivid childhood memories. I bet most of them involve strong feelings. The pride you felt when you learned to tie your shoes. The devastation when your pet goldfish died. The pure joy of playing with friends during summer vacation. These emotional moments get stamped into our memory with extra strength. Now compare that to yesterday. Unless something particularly exciting, upsetting, or meaningful happened, it was probably just another regular day. You went through your routine, did your usual things, and your brain treated it all as standard operating procedure. No emotional highlighter needed. The storytelling brain. Children are natural storytellers, and so are our brains. When you were young, you probably told the story of your day to your parents, replayed fun moments in your head, or even acted out adventures with your toys. This constant storytelling and replay actually strengthens memories. Every time you tell a story or think about a memory, you're essentially taking it out, dusting it off, and putting it back in a more secure place in your brain. It's like the difference between a book you read once and put on a shelf versus a favorite book you read over and over again. The well-worn book becomes part of you in a way the others don't. Children also tend to live more in the moment and reflect on their experiences. They ask why about everything and think deeply about what happens to them. Adults, on the other hand, often go through their days on autopilot, especially when doing routine tasks. The busy adult brain. Let's talk about what's happening in your adult brain that makes yesterday feel so forgettable. As adults, we're juggling an incredible number of things every day. You're thinking about work deadlines while making breakfast, planning dinner while stuck in traffic, and worrying about bills while trying to fall asleep. This mental multitasking is the enemy of memory formation. When your attention is scattered across a dozen different concerns, your brain doesn't have the focused energy to properly encode what's happening right now. It's like trying to take a good photograph while the camera is constantly moving. Everything comes out blurry. Children, especially young ones, have the gift of singular focus. When they're playing with blocks, they're completely absorbed in blocks. When they're listening to a story, the story has their full attention. This focused attention is like high-quality film. It captures clear, detailed memories. Adults also have something called routine fatigue. We've developed efficient patterns for getting through our days, which is great for productivity but terrible for memory formation. Your brain essentially goes into energy-saving mode during routine activities. Why waste mental energy remembering every mundane detail when you could use that brain power for more important things? The stress factor. Here's something that might surprise you. Stress can be both a memory booster and a memory killer, depending on the type and timing. Short bursts of mild stress or excitement can actually help form stronger memories. That's why you might remember stressful but important childhood events very clearly, like the first time you got in trouble at school or the anxiety of a big performance in the school play. But chronic, ongoing stress, the kind many adults deal with daily, is different. It can actually interfere with memory formation and recall. When you're constantly worried about work, finances, relationships, or health, your brain is spending so much energy managing stress that it doesn't have much left over for forming detailed memories of everyday events. Think of it this way. If your brain is a smartphone, chronic stress is like having too many apps running in the background. Everything slows down, including your ability to capture and store new memories. The repetition trap. As adults, our days often blend together because they're so similar. Monday looks a lot like Tuesday, which looks a lot like Wednesday. You wake up, check your phone, shower, eat breakfast, commute, work, commute back, eat dinner, watch TV, sleep, repeat. This repetition creates what memory researchers call interference. When experiences are too similar to each other, they compete for space in your memory, and often the most recent one overwrites the earlier ones. It's like trying to remember which Tuesday you had that conversation with your coworker. They all blend together because the context was so similar each time. Childhood days, on the other hand, were much more varied. School days had different subjects. Recess activities changed. Weather affected what you could do outside. And weekends were completely different adventures. This variety helped create distinct memory folders that didn't interfere with each other. The power of sleep and time. Here's another piece of the puzzle. The way our brains process memories changes as we age. Children typically get more and better quality sleep than adults. Lucky them, right? During sleep, our brains do something amazing. They sort through the day's experiences and decide what's worth keeping long term. It's like having a night janitor who goes through your mental filing cabinet, throwing away the junk mail and carefully organizing the important documents. When you don't get enough quality sleep, this process doesn't work as well, and memories don't get properly transferred from short-term to long-term storage. Children also have less mental clutter, competing for storage space. Adult brains are packed with information, work knowledge, social obligations, financial concerns, current events, and countless other details. There's simply less room for mundane daily details to make a lasting impression, making yesterday more memorable. Understanding why childhood memories stick around doesn't mean you're doomed to forget everything that happens to you as an adult. There are ways to make your recent experiences more memorable. The key is to break out of routine and pay attention. Try taking a different route to work, really savoring your morning coffee instead of gulping it down, or having a genuine conversation with someone instead of just exchanging pleasantries. When you engage more fully with your experiences, you give your brain something worth remembering. You can also borrow from your childhood self by telling stories about your day. Share interesting moments with friends or family, write in a journal, or just take a few minutes before bed to reflect on what happened. This storytelling process helps cement memories just like it did when you were young. The beautiful truth about memory. Here's the thing about memory that's both humbling and wonderful. Our brains aren't designed to be perfect recording devices. They're designed to help us survive and thrive. Childhood memories stick around because they contain important information about who we are, where we came from, and what shaped us. They're the foundation stories of our lives. Yesterday's memories, while they might seem less important, serve a different purpose. They're often more functional, helping us navigate routine tasks and maintain relationships. Your brain is actually being quite smart by not cluttering up your mental space with every mundane detail. The next time you're frustrated that you can't remember if you fed the cat this morning, but you can perfectly recall the way sunlight looked in your childhood bedroom, remember that your brain is doing exactly what it's supposed to do. It's keeping the stories that matter and letting go of the details that don't. And maybe, just maybe, That's not such a bad system after all. In a world that often feels overwhelming with information and stimulation, perhaps there's wisdom in a brain that knows the difference between the memories worth treasuring and the ones we can safely let fade away. After all, we don't need to remember every sunset to appreciate the beauty of the one we're watching right now.